Hello and welcome to the third video in my new channel. This video is in response to some feedback I received from my kind of channel intro video. I reached out to somebody I trust and I asked them for their unfiltered opinion, knowing they would give me exactly what I needed. And they did. They gave me a very detailed list of things to work on and try to improve. The first of those was the clutter behind me. As you can see, the clutter is now gone. Organization is always a challenge for me, so instead of actually doing anything, I'm just going to cover it up. Second thing they asked, who is Dennis Diderot and why do we care what he said? Which, having watched several other videos, I didn't give nearly enough information on who he was or why he was important. So who was Dennis Diderot? Denis Diderot was a French philosopher and art critic and writer and co-founder of the, I'm going to pronounce this wrong, the Encyclopédie, and a prominent figure during the Age of Enlightenment. Now, the French version of the Encyclopedia that he produced and edited for was the first of its kind in France to have named contributors writing for them, and is also the first to describe the mechanical arts. Now, due to the secular nature of the Encyclopedia, it was considered a forerunner of the French Revolution. He was very poor for most of his life, as a lot of thinkers are, until he was hired by Catherine the Great to be her personal librarian. He was also a writer, where most of his published works were not published until after his death. I will do a link to his bibliography. Auguste Comte, the inventor of sociology, described him as the foremost intellectual of an exciting age. The third issue that they addressed was they felt that there were contradictions to my statements. They are a Christian, which most of the people around me are, and that's how I was raised and that's how I grew up. Why does their belief or disbelief in any God have any impact on my life? Well, the short answer is it shouldn't. Whether or not they believe or don't believe is entirely their opinion, and it is entirely up to them. Their opinion on their beliefs should not impact my life at all. My opinion on my beliefs should not impact their life at all. The issue becomes when the majority of legislators in America are Christian, and a large majority of them try to use their faith as a justification for laws that are passed, for legislation that is written. They purport to be Christian and try to use their Christian values as justification for passing laws such as those that impact the LGBTQIA+ community, preventing them from being able to marry, preventing them from being able to get health care. They impact the lives of people with uteruses whose access to health care has been greatly disturbed due to the overturning of Roe v. Wade. Using their interpretation of their religious doctrine, whether it be Christian, whether it be Muslim, whether it be Jewish, whether it be Buddhist, whether it be Taoist, whether it be a Satanist, whether they be agnostic, whether they be atheistic, they should not use religious views to try to pass laws. And if you think that I'm overreacting, there are currently 7 states that have laws on the books that prevent anyone who does not acknowledge a higher power or divine being from holding office. None of these laws are enforceable. The 1961 Supreme Court case Torcaso v. Watkins, in which a person was denied a governmental job on behalf of their religion, which was overturned because that would be favoring or disfavoring a particular religion. Most of these states will not surprise you. They are Mississippi, Arkansas, Maryland, North Carolina, Pennsylvania, South Carolina, Tennessee, and Texas. The fact that these laws are not enforceable should be a good thing. However, as we have seen with the Roe v. Wade decision, Supreme Court decisions can be overturned by a new court, by a new interpretation of the same words. As it currently stands, the breakdown of the Supreme Court is severely in the favor of the conservatives, who are all in favor of using their religious doctrine to pass and enforce laws. All it could take would be one court case to make it to the Supreme Court in which they overturn the 1961 ruling on whether or not these laws are enforceable. As we have seen with the overturning of Roe v. Wade, as we have seen with the Roe v. Wade decision being overturned, it is quite possible that should the 1961 Torcaso v. Watkins case be overturned, other states will pass laws that you must affirm a higher being. That that you must affirm a higher being in order to receive governmental office. That would not endorse any particular religion, just the presence of a higher being must be on your mindset. Whether I want to or not, a state can pass a law saying I cannot because of my religious beliefs, or in this case, lack of religious beliefs. Now, I bring these numbers up not as a statement against any sort of religious people within Congress, but as a way to show the disproportionate amount of religions that are not represented within Congress. In the United States Congress, there are 534 people within the two separate houses of government. Of those 534, 469, or 87.8%, are Christian, compared to the percentage of the U.S. adult at 63%. Christians are overrepresented within the congressional breakdown of this percentage. There are 33 Jewish, which breaks down to 6.2% of Congress, compared to 2% of Americans. There are 2 Buddhists, 3 Muslim, 2 Hindu, 3 Unitarian Universalists, 1 Humanist, 1 unaffiliated, and 20 don't know or refused. Now, why are these numbers important? The American population is 63% Christian. The American governing body is 87.8% Christian. Within the 469 members of Congress who identify as Christian, 303 identify as Protestant. Of those 303, there are 13 different breakdowns. You have 148 Catholics, 9 Mormons, 8 Orthodox Christian, and 1 Messianic Jewish. According to a Pew Research poll done in December of 2021, currently about 3 in 10 U.S. adults, or 29%, are religious nones, as in they do not identify with any specific religion. If 29% of Americans are non-religious, why is it that 100% of the Congress is religiously affiliated? As far as Christians within the world, there are currently 6 major denominations of Christianity: Catholicism, Protestantism, Eastern Orthodoxy, Anglicanism, Oriental Orthodoxy, and Assyrians. Globally, there are over 2 billion Christians within those 6 major denominations. Within those 6 majors, there are 45,000 minor denominations of Christianity. There are 45,000 versions of the same book that has been used to pass laws in Western society for over 2,000 years. 45,000 different interpretations of the same words. There are over 50 Bible translations. Which one of them is the one that we want to represent our modern laws? Do we want the one that is most popular, which is the King James Bible, which is 400 years old and widely regarded as a beautiful work of literature, but a horrible translation of the actual biblical text? Do we want the New International Version, which again is widely regarded as a horrible translation? Do we want our laws based on a more modern translation, such as the New American Standard Revised Version? My friend and I have had multiple discussions about religion, done in a respectful way. They have some questions, I have some answers. I have some questions, they have some answers. This is the way a proper discussion should happen. However, whether or not I believe in an afterlife, or whether or not they believe in an afterlife, should have no impact on the lives of each other. If anyone did not know, I work in retail. It has rules on what I can and cannot say to customers. However, there are no firm rules on what the customer can or cannot do to me. They cannot make contact with me, they cannot be violent to me, or they will be removed from the store. On 4 different occasions, I have been discussing general customer service with the customer, and they have handed me a pamphlet with religious affiliation. Now, I cannot actively display my religious beliefs. That goes against the company guidelines. However, because of the area that I live in being a very conservative area, and me being a very not conservative person, my beliefs do not follow the beliefs of most of the people in my area, or my own family, or my state. But because this is Christian literature being passed around, no one cares. However, what if it was a Muslim passing around Muslim literature? What if it was the Church of Satan passing around literature talking about the 7 tenets of Satanism? I have a feeling there would be a public outcry in my area, but I would just be doing exactly what they were doing. What it all boils down to, believe or don't believe, that's your choice. That's your right to have that choice. But when someone else's choice begins to impact my life, that is when it begins to be a problem. It's got a whole lot darker than I intended it to be. Thank you for sticking around, and I hope to see you in the next video. My intention is to start doing 2 videos a month. One short one, such as this, one longer one, whose length is going to be a nightmare to try to edit. However, thank you for joining me, and I'll see you on the next adventure.